Glass crunches underfoot while the screen blasts white noise. The signal doesn't stop even after the plug is ripped free, and something inside the static speaks his exact thoughts aloud. She grabs the remote and hurls it, but the device snaps back into her hand as if pulled by wire. The channel shifts without permission, revealing unfamiliar faces staring outward. The doorbell rings with impossible timing. An elderly stranger stands outside holding a replacement controller neither of them ordered and demands trivia answers before stepping in. Correct responses pour from him without effort. The stranger nods once, vanishes through the doorway, and the remote vibrates until her thumb presses a single raised key. Air collapses inward. Furniture stretches into lines, color drains away, and gravity pulls them through the television frame like water through a drain. They land upright on pavement too perfect to be real. The street repeats identical houses, identical lawns, identical smiles approaching them without pause. People greet them with rehearsed warmth and guide them home despite no introductions. Every answer she gives is ignored, replaced by responses matching an invisible script. Inside the assigned house, a meal waits already steaming. Portions multiply whenever touched, forcing them to continue eating long after hunger ends. He steps outside hoping distance restores logic. Instead, neighbors repeat the same wave each time he passes, their timing identical down to the blink. She steals a parked car and floors the accelerator toward escape. The highway curves endlessly until the same street sign reappears ahead again. Returning shaken, she finds him calmly explaining routines to locals who accept every word. The authority unsettles her more than the looped road. Lessons reveal impossible beliefs. The residents insist no cities exist beyond theirs and maps redraw themselves to erase contradiction. He takes employment at a polished diner where time moves predictably. Orders arrive before spoken, and customers never ask unfamiliar questions. She follows a local admirer toward nighttime scenery advertised as romantic. The overlook shows nothing but painted stars frozen in place. Her attempt to provoke spontaneity confuses the companion into silence. When she leaves, a single flower nearby holds a shade darker than anything else. Back at work, he notices a cook staring at a burning stovetop coil in disbelief. Flames exist here only because someone imagined them first. That night, sirens echo from an orchard where trees ignite uncontrollably. No one knows response procedures, and panic freezes movement. He shouts instructions drawn from memory, forcing strangers into coordinated action. Water and dirt eventually choke the flames into smoke. Recognition spreads through town, elevating him overnight. Meanwhile, she discovers books in the library once blank now filling with words. Thunder cracks without warning. Rain crashes into the square for the first time ever, and the citizens scatter as reality abandons its own rules. The rain doesn't stop. Streets flood in minutes, and people panic, trampling over each other to find non-existent shelter. She finds a hidden alley and drags a companion inside. Shadows stretch unnaturally along the walls, twisting corners into impossible angles. Back at the diner, he notices the cook painting flames onto walls. Others watch, intrigued, unaware of fire's destructive potential. A sudden knock interrupts them. The elderly man from before returns, this time with warnings that change comes with cost. Ignoring the warning, she steals a stack of books. The pages swirl and glow, spreading color across the floors and furniture. He intervenes, but the color jumps to his sleeves, then face. Panic sets in, the world is responding faster than anyone anticipated. The diner fills with new patrons who stare at him, eyes wide as if seeing a ghost. Orders jumble, conversations falter, chaos thrives in order's place. Outside, lightning splits the sky. She laughs at the novelty, unaware the storm bends reality, making streets longer and walls taller. He runs toward the orchard again. Flames rekindle along new branches, now spreading faster than before. Residents panic, throwing buckets without coordination. She screams, realizing each act of interference multiplies the instability around them. The diner explodes into noise. A painter spills colors on the chrome counters, reflections fracture into endless faces staring back. She sneaks to the classroom. Lessons now read aloud by invisible teachers. Words change mid-sentence, twisting comprehension. A small rebellion forms, children begin coloring books with imagination only. Each stroke disrupts the black and white hierarchy, awakening eyes and minds. The eldest man confronts them publicly. He screams about tradition and order, but his voice warps, echoing as if the air itself rejects him. She discovers the overlook frozen under snow. One touch melts a section, revealing hidden steps down toward forbidden areas. He races through loops of the highway. Tires squeal on the same stretch again and again, exhaust blurring the edges of reality. A flare ignites in the orchard. Shadows twist around trees like living things. People flee, some never return. She uncovers a hidden library door behind a wall. Inside, ancient books glow brighter than the storm outside. He negotiates with a black and white authority, offering knowledge of fire and color. The council hesitates, then bans chromatic behavior outright. Chaos erupts in the town square. Riots burn books, paintings, and decorum alike, leaving smoke and screams tangled together. Windows shatter across the square as citizens turn on neighbors. The first punch lands without hesitation, and silence dies with it. He drags injured strangers into the diner for shelter. The chrome counters reflect spreading stains that refuse to stay gray. The elderly authority orders arrests for anyone showing color. Patrols sweep the streets, measuring faces for deviation. She hides inside the secret library room as boots pound outside. The books vibrate on their own, whispering through rustling pages. He confronts the council openly, demanding space for change. The meeting hall doors slam shut behind him without anyone touching them. Outside, the orchard reignites, flames taller than before. Smoke rolls toward town as if guided with intention. She races to the overlook, hoping the hidden stairs lead out. The steps descend into darkness that swallows sound completely. He's seized mid-speech and forced into a patrol car. The looping highway stretches ahead, promising confinement without walls. The car never reaches a destination. It circles endlessly until the officers begin questioning their own orders. Below the overlook, she finds an underground archive of erased scenes. Entire moments removed from existence sit stacked in metal canisters. She plays one reel on a rusted projector. The image shows the town burning completely in an earlier attempt at change. Back on the highway, he grabs the steering wheel mid-loop. The vehicle crashes through a guardrail that instantly rebuilds behind them. The crash doesn't injure anyone. Instead, the officers' uniforms gain faint shades, and fear replaces authority in their eyes. She realizes the archive documents every rebellion attempt. Each one ends when someone chooses safety over transformation. The orchard fire reaches the town's edge. Flames lick the first suburban fence, and residents freeze, waiting for scripted rescue. He returns from the highway on foot, ash clinging to his glasses. For the first time, he stops giving instructions. She emerges from underground carrying a reel that hasn't been played yet. Its label reads simply, unwritten. They meet in the square as rain hammers down again. He admits every attempt to control change has made things worse. The council announces a final decree, burn all color sources and reset the town. Torches ignite across the square. She loads the unwritten reel into the projector set up in the open air. The screen flickers, waiting to display a future that doesn't yet exist. The projector beam cuts through rain and smoke. The blank screen refuses to show images, forcing the crowd to stare at empty possibility. Torches rise higher. The elderly authority orders the film burned before it can invent something uncontrollable. He steps between flame and film. For the first time, he refuses to explain anything to anyone. The orchard fire reaches the outer homes. Windows crack from heat, and no scripted rescue arrives. Rain intensifies, clashing with flame in violent bursts of steam. The town trembles between destruction and transformation. The projector begins displaying shapes, not memories, but silhouettes of people choosing different actions. The crowd watches themselves hesitate. One officer drops his torch. A faint wash of color spreads across his sleeve, refusing to fade. The elderly authority charges forward to smash the machine. She blocks him, gripping the reel tight against her chest. He confronts the authority directly. Instead of arguing, he holds up a mirror taken from the diner. In the reflection, the authority's face shows faint tones spreading across his skin. He recoils as if struck. The projector image shifts again. It shows the town connected to roads that do not loop. The looping highway begins to crack in reality. Guardrails flicker, revealing open land beyond. The orchard fire collapses under relentless rain. Ash settles, and the trees stand blackened but upright. The council attempts one final command to reset everything. No one responds this time. Color spreads across the square like ink through water. Buildings absorb it without collapsing. He turns toward her and admits he was afraid of losing control. She replies that control was the prison. The projector begins overheating from exposure. Smoke curls upward as the reel nears its end. The elderly authority collapses to his knees, no longer monochrome. The crowd steps back, unsure who leads now. He removes the reel before it melts completely. The screen goes dark, but the changes remain. Sirens wail from nowhere, then fade permanently. The scripted sound design has stopped functioning. The highway straightens fully, stretching beyond the horizon without looping back. Wind moves freely across it. The diner's chrome dulls into natural texture. Reflections no longer multiply faces artificially. The library shelves fill with books that were never written before. Titles appear gradually along their spines. He finds the elderly man alone at the kitchen table. There are no scripts left for either of them. He finds the elderly man alone at the kitchen table. There are no scripts left for either of them. Outside, residents cautiously experiment with unscripted conversations. Some fail. Others succeed awkwardly. She returns to the overlook stairs. The underground archive has vanished completely. He realizes the remote device never reappeared after the storm. The exit may no longer exist. The elderly man confesses he only maintained the illusion, never controlled it. The system fed on predictability. She announces she intends to stay and help rebuild something authentic. Leaving now would repeat every failed reel. He faces the straightened highway again. Freedom now means uncertainty, not escape. Behind him, the town hums with unscripted noise. No laugh tracks. No resets. The orchard begins sprouting new growth beside charred trunks. Change leaves scars but also evidence of survival. He removes his glasses and cleans ash from the lenses. His reflection now looks unfamiliar but real. The elderly man walks alone through the square, no longer followed. Authority dissolved with the illusion. She restarts the projector one final time. It shows nothing, and that is enough. He turns away from the highway and walks back toward town. Escape is no longer the objective. Residents repaint storefronts without instruction. The square fills with cautious momentum. The diner reopens with uneven service and real mistakes. Customers stay anyway.